and her husband Raj does not support her in these tasks or participate in children's school activities, right? However, Raj believes that he's working hard on his job to secure financial freedom for the family and build a better future. These conflicting views are leading constant fights, tension between them. Uh, when I hear from my own fellow mates, colleagues, this
Mhm.
is the case in the 90% of the household, if
Right.
not outside India, but in India, right?
Mhm.
um, how do we as young couples try and manage this conflicting views, because it is always going to be part of any marriage where both of them are working. um,
Mhm.
what would be your advice?
Okay, so I think this is advice I'm giving myself too. Conflicting views with marriage, they never end. So maybe after this session, I'm going to do some practice of my own
Yeah.
advice. Right. Uh, I think the much overused, much maligned, but absolutely bang on point issue is communication. Right. Uh, Expectations of oneself, expectations from the other, especially in marriage, when after a certain point, all the honeymoon is over and all those things, people start taking things for granted. You're supposed to understand the other person. You know, your spouse will tell you, you're supposed to know. Well, that's one, I think, one big blunder that all of us make, which is like none of us are mind readers, right? And unless you specifically communicate exactly how and what and the issues that are bothering or whatever, this idea that the other person should understand automatically without having to be told anything, I think it's a false idea. It's very naive. It is maybe a romanticized idea of how things work. Things really, really do not work that way. And especially as one has a marriage which goes longer and longer, you're not married to the same person that you were on the first day. People change. The husband changes, the wife changes, circumstances change, and a constant communication is something that really, really needs to happen. And on that point, I think, unfortunately, in our society, we are not trained to communicate properly, right? We are told to be good. We are told to, behave. There are certain stereotypes and expectations about what a husband is, what a wife is, and we've seen this in our own parents, right? We've seen this how many of our parents. I can definitely speak about mine, where my mom never expressed her feelings or hardly did, right? And she would tell me, but she would not tell my dad, her husband, right? And then I don't know what to do with it. She's telling me now, what do I do? Go tell my dad and get beaten up, or tell my mom or things will be fine and all that.
Yeah.
And like we see in the movies, the elder son will say, "Ah, ma, I'll take care of all your troubles when I become older, or when I become independent." Well, by the time the troubles have changed, and whatever was paining my mom has gone so deep, it has affected the relationship with my dad, but she and him are the ones who need to fix it. I can't do anything. I can sit and help mediate, but if they don't want to talk to each other, or if the pain or the angst has become so deep, which is typical what you will see in our parents' generation for sure, is that okay, beyond a certain superficiality, there is not much, unfortunately, right? This is the truth in most relationships as things pass on. So I think really key is, and by the way, this sort of superficial communication, oh, you're spending 3 hours in the kitchen and I'm spending 12 hours in the office, doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't equate things like that. You need to go deeper. You need to really express yourself. And again, it's hard in a society where honest communication is often not, what should I say? At the very least, it's not welcome,
Yeah, it's not
right?
appreciated, right?
Definitely not appreciated. You start becoming honest, you're going to get a lot of pushback, right? And then you're going to have to work through that pushback, because the first thing that happens when people start becoming honest is the other person starts to think that you're accusing them of things, right? that you're blaming them for things and all. There needs to be a certain, I don't know, compassion, again, an overused word. I think we all need counseling. That's for sure. Right? And now, where do you get counseling? That's another good question. There are a lot of open-ended things which there are no specific clear answers to. But again, like I said, I hope that there are people that one can reach out to help mediate things. But again, the reluctance is, oh, if I start that, how do I look to the world? We all want to look good. We all want to show that we are all happy and our families are fine and functioning all okay. But have you noticed when you start talking to others and start saying, look, they also start saying, I also have this problem. You also, oh, I didn't know you have this problem. But the problem is that we discussed that, but there's no solution that is found. And there needs to be a certain much deeper, I know I overuse this word, way to communicate with the other in a empathic, in a appropriate manner without being, neither should you be defensive, nor should you be accusatory, right? And that's a very difficult balance to have. For me, a long time back, I'm not promoting this and I'm not saying that anybody should do this, but I benefited a lot because I did a program called Landmark Education, right? Again, one of those lucky accidents in my life. And that taught me a lot about myself and about how to communicate, how to distinguish real issues versus imagined issues, how to get to the, what do I say? A common ground, a reality where both are empowered and both are trusted and build strength. But that was, again, an intense program. It's not something that one can accomplish by reading a book or, just listening to a lecture. It's something that one needs to really put oneself through. So if you are really committed, forget about committed to another person, but if you're committed to yourself, I would strongly suggest to people that they find programs that open up themselves to themselves, if that makes sense, right? It could be maybe doing yoga, maybe, going to a guru or sometimes, getting into, I don't like the word spirituality too much because it's so overused and misused and all. And spirituality can often be a place where people hide from their real issues in life, right? That's not what it is. Spirituality is there to empower you and to get you to deal with issues in your life. But it could be anything. It could be some, I don't know, landmark type education program. It could be aunt, uncle, a grandparent if you have, or a good friend or whatever it is, or go to a counselor, right? Or reach out to a good friend. But one thing you should not do is keep things bottled up and keep things festering under the carpet, because they will come back to bite you big time. It's just a matter of time. And they will affect your health, by the way, right? You will get sick in ways that you may not even understand. You'll be like drained of energy. It's definitely going to contribute to maybe you getting BP or diabetes or something like that. It's going to affect your children, right? Probably not have a healthy relationship for sure with all these things going on, and so you need to take the bull by the horns. There is no nice ways of getting around this. There will be pain, there will be chaos. One has to go through that to go to the other side, which is always a better thing, is what I would say. So conflicts are exactly that. They are conflicts. There is no nice way to deal with conflicts. You have to fight your way through them, right? I mean, I really like the picture on the screen. People sitting with their backs to each other with the big fat wall in between. You either have to climb over that wall or you have to break that wall. Either way, it is hard. Either way, it is hard. There is no two ways around it, right? And again, I'm hoping that there's a forum that happens here where people can come and maybe open up one-on-one, and maybe we can help them to take steps towards whatever their issues are.
Sure. So the first step towards conflict resolution is communication.
The first step is acknowledgement, actually.
Okay.
Most people don't even acknowledge that they have an issue.